Chapter 2. The day had finally arrived, and heaven itself seemed to hum with joy. Every corner of the celestial realm sparkled, as though newly polished, each detail a reflection of the angels' love and devotion to the Creator. The light that bathed the golden streets shimmered brighter, casting hues that danced like liquid fire. Every sound, every note of the endless melody that wove through the air, seemed to carry an unspoken promise of something extraordinary. The anticipation was palpable, like the moment before the first dawn. The golden streets thrummed beneath the steady footsteps of angels, each movement purposeful yet unhurried. Their resplendent forms gleamed with radiance, their robes adorned with intricate patterns that shimmered like molten jewels. Some wore fabrics that seemed woven from starlight, their threads twinkling as they moved, while others had simple flowing robes that reflected their unique roles in heaven's harmony. Wings of every size and color stretched and fluttered, a tapestry of motion and light. Gabriel strode through the streets, his robe of shimmering white edged with gold, its design resembling the constellations he so often shaped. His golden eyes scanned the banners that adorned the Sapphire Court, ensuring their perfect alignment. A faint smile played on his lips as he passed a group of younger angels carefully adjusting the final ribbons on a column. "Excellent work," he said warmly. "Your precision brings honor to this day." Not far behind, Selephiel hovered just above the streets, his copper-hued wings catching the light as they beat gently. His robes were a deep, vibrant red, bordered with silver threads that seemed to spark and fade like embers. Ever the playful one, he darted between groups of angels, offering teasing encouragement. "Don't forget the sparkle. It's not perfect until it dazzles." His laughter mingled with the hum of activity, a reminder that joy itself was worship. Raphael moved with a quieter grace, his green and gold robes flowing like rippling leaves in a gentle breeze. He carried a delicate bouquet of celestial blooms, their petals glowing faintly, their fragrance filling the air with a sweetness that seemed to amplify the harmony around them. He stopped briefly at a fountain near the Tree of Life, where a group of angels stood admiring the cascading light water. "Let's add this to the celebration," Raphael said, offering the flowers to one of them. "Their melody will complement the river song perfectly." In a far corner of the court, the angelic choir rehearsed their final harmonies. Their robes, varying shades of silver and white, glowed softly as they stood in concentric circles. Each voice blended into the next, creating a cascade of sound that seemed to ripple through the air like waves on the crystal sea. Gabriel paused briefly to offer guidance. "Lift the crescendo slightly here," he instructed, his hands moving in time with the music. "Let it feel as though you're carrying the light itself." Meanwhile, near the gardens of the Tree of Life, Raphael worked tirelessly to ensure every flower, vine, and melody was in perfect harmony with the rest of the celebration. He adjusted the luminous vines draped across the trellises, their soft glow adding a natural warmth to the splendor of the day. Selephiel appeared beside him, plucking one of the glowing blooms and holding it up for inspection. "Do you ever stop?" Selephiel teased, his grin as bright as his copper wings. "Not today," Raphael replied, though his smile was soft and good-natured. "This is our offering to him. It must be as perfect as he is." Selephiel chuckled, spoken like a true gardener of heaven. "But don't forget to enjoy it." The river of life, flowing from the base of the throne, wound its way through the court, its waters glowing with a light that seemed to carry the essence of creation itself. Angels gathered along its banks, their reflections shimmering as they admired the beauty of the moment. Some carried garlands of celestial flowers, tossing them into the river as an offering of praise. Lucifer himself approached the river, his golden robes catching every reflection of light and amplifying it. His wings, expansive and magnificent, stretched slightly as he paused to observe the rippling waters. A faint smile crossed his lips, though it did not quite reach his eyes. Around him, angels greeted him warmly, their voices filled with admiration. "Morning star," they said, bowing slightly. He nodded in acknowledgement, his practiced smile never faltering. "Everything is as it should be," he said, his tone smooth and assured. But within, a shadow flickered, a whisper of something unspoken. As the time of the celebration drew near, the angels began to gather in the throne room, their steps quickened by excitement. The choir's final notes rose in perfect harmony, and the Sapphire Court seemed to pulse with the collective anticipation of heaven's host. Each angel, from the highest seraphim to the youngest of the heavenly assembly, moved with a single purpose, to offer their worship, their joy, and their love to the Creator. And at the heart of it all, the throne room awaited, its light brighter than ever, its glory unmatched. The celebration of all celebrations was about to begin, and heaven itself seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. Lucifer stood at the edge of the crystal sea, his golden wings unfurled and gleaming in the refracted light. He was dressed in robes of shimmering white threaded with strands of pure light, a design of his own creation that radiated majesty. His eyes, sharp and piercing, scanned the horizon as the distant sound of angelic choirs reached his ears. The day was everything he had envisioned, yet something stirred uneasily within him. He had overseen every detail, every note, every color, every movement, and now, as the hour approached, he felt a strange hollowness beneath the surface of his pride. Behind him, Gabriel approached, his robes flowing like liquid gold. His expression carried an excitement that mirrored the mood of heaven. "The court is ready, Morning Star," he said, his voice filled with reverence. "The choir has perfected the harmonies. The assembly awaits your final blessing before the throne." Lucifer gave a slight nod, his expression composed. "Excellent, Gabriel. You have done well." Gabriel hesitated, studying Lucifer's face. "And you? Are you not filled with joy at what this day will bring?" Lucifer's practiced smile softened the sharpness of his gaze. "Of course, it is the highest honor to prepare for such a moment." As Gabriel departed to take his place among the host, Lucifer remained for a moment longer, his reflection shimmering on the surface of the sea. The faint flicker returned, a whisper in the depths of his mind. Why was I not chosen? The throne room was more magnificent than ever. Its expanse seemed to stretch beyond eternity, the floor of transparent gold reflecting the light that radiated from the throne itself. The great rainbow encircled the space, its colors shifting and glowing as though alive, each hue resonating with a celestial harmony. Angels filled the room, their forms radiant and diverse. Raphael stood near the tree of life, his robes adorned with subtle patterns of green and gold that mirrored the vibrancy of his gardens. He wore a calm, serene smile, though his hands fidgeted slightly, a rare sign of nervousness. Gabriel, ever meticulous, stood with the choir, his golden eyes scanning the rows to ensure every angel was perfectly positioned. Selathiel hovered nearby, his copper-toned wings catching the light as he adjusted a banner for the 100th time, his excitement barely contained. Above them all, Cassiel floated near the arches of the library, his 6 wings partially veiling his face as he studied the scene below. His expression was unreadable, but there was a quiet reverence in the way his hands folded before him. Even he could not deny the significance of what was about to be revealed. The music began softly, a single note that rose like the first light of dawn. It swelled, layer upon layer, as the voices of the seraphim joined. The sound filled every corner of the room, resonating in the very fabric of creation. It was not just music, it was worship, an offering of perfect harmony. A hush fell over the assembly as the light of the throne intensified, enveloping the Sapphire Court in a radiance so pure and overwhelming that it seemed to reach into the essence of every being present. The vibrant hum of heaven's endless song grew softer, as if creation itself paused in reverence. Each angel bowed their heads, wings folding gracefully, as the presence of the Creator washed over them. A warmth so profound It felt like the very fabric of love and purpose. Gabriel, standing near Sapphire at the edge of the assembly, felt a deep stirring of excitement. His golden eyes, wide with wonder, flicked toward the throne. In this moment, he marveled not only at the Father's glory, but at the privilege of witnessing the unfolding of something eternal. Beside him, Sapphire's copper-hued wings quivered slightly, betraying the exuberant energy he was trying to contain. He whispered under his breath, his voice barely audible, "Do you think it will be as beautiful as the stars we made?" Gabriel smirked faintly, though his awe never wavered. "It's not for us to imagine. It's his work, his design." Raphael, further back but still within view of the throne, was overwhelmed by an almost maternal anticipation. His hands, calloused from tending heaven's gardens, were clasped tightly. The idea of a new creation, a place where life would grow, where beauty would unfold under the Creator's hand, filled him with a quiet joy. "A world of life," he murmured to himself. "What wondrous melodies it will sing." Cassiel, perched higher in the assembly, gazed intently toward the throne with his 6 iridescent wings folded tightly around him. His analytical mind raced, piecing together the layers of divine intention behind the announcement. Yet even he, the thinker, felt his heart swell with a reverent awe that silenced his calculations. He whispered to himself, "Freedom, choice. Such a creation must be a reflection of his deepest love." Among them all, Lucifer stood closest to the throne. His golden wings were spread wide, his stature commanding as ever. Outwardly, his face remained serene, his head bowed slightly, but within, a complex tangle of thoughts stirred. The Father's light pressed upon him, a warmth that should have filled him with joy. But there was something else. A faint, unnameable disquiet flickered in the corners of his mind, like a ripple in the crystal sea before a storm. The Creator's voice resonated, deep and steady, carrying the weight of eternity. It filled every corner of heaven, wrapping itself around the hearts of the assembly. "My children," he began, his words flowing like the river of life. "Today, heaven witnesses the unveiling of my purpose, the revelation of my glory in new and wondrous ways." The angels' faces lifted, their expressions radiant with awe. Even the seraphim, who perpetually circled the throne crying, "Holy, holy, holy," seemed to burn brighter in response. The great rainbow encircling the throne pulsed in time with the Father's words, its colors cascading in waves that rippled outward, bathing the assembly in a symphony of light. "Through my word, all that is was brought into being, and through my Son, my word made manifest, a new creation shall be born, a world where my glory will shine in freedom, beauty, and choice." The announcement hung in the air like a divine chord, resonating in the hearts of all present. Raphael's hands tightened against his chest, imagining the new creation, its trees, its rivers, its life, all springing forth under the Father's command. Gabriel's gaze flicked to Sapphire, who was beaming, his face alight with wonder. Lucifer, however, felt the weight of the words differently. His golden eyes remained fixed on the light of the throne, yet within, the words "freedom" and "choice" turned over and over in his mind. Why would the Creator introduce such concepts? Why not simply create perfection as he had with heaven? He quickly silenced the questions, forcing himself to remain focused on the grandeur of the moment. The Father's light shifted, drawing attention to the figure standing beside him. Michael, the Son, stepped forward. His robes, woven from the light of the throne itself, shimmered with an otherworldly brilliance. His expression was serene, yet there was a quiet gravity to his presence, a weight that commanded not fear, but devotion. The assembly leaned forward, rapt. "My son," the Father declared, his voice resonating with love and authority, is the creator of this new world. Through him, my will shall be fulfilled. He will speak life into being, shape its form, and breathe into it the light of eternity. The words stirred a palpable reaction among the angels. Cheers of joy erupted softly, reverberating like gentle waves through the Sapphire Court. The seraphim lifted their voices in a soaring anthem, their harmonies echoing heaven's adoration. Gabriel closed his eyes, allowing the sheer beauty of the moment to wash over him. Raphael knelt, his head bowed, tears of joy glistening in his eyes as he whispered, "Praise be to the Creator of life." Even Celestial, typically light-hearted, seemed overcome. "A new world," he murmured to Gabriel, his voice filled with awe. "Imagine what it will look like." Lucifer, however, remained still. His gaze was fixed on the sun, who stood illuminated in the full glory of the throne's light. As the Father's words echoed, "Through him, my will shall be fulfilled," a flicker of unease stirred within him. Why not me? The thought whispered, unbidden, and he pushed it away. Yet it lingered, stubborn as a shadow in the light. The Creator continued, his words painting a vivid picture of what was to come. "This world will be a place of beauty and wonder, a masterpiece reflecting my love. Its skies will sing, its waters will dance, and its fields will bloom with life in every form. And within it, I shall place a being unlike any other, one who bears my image and carries my breath. They will know freedom, they will know choice, and in their lives, my glory will be revealed." The assembly was enraptured, their imaginations racing to envision this new creation. Cassiel, his mind sharp, pondered the weight of such a being, one with the freedom to choose. Gabriel felt his heart swell with love for these future creations, these beings who would, in their own way, carry the Creator's light. Lucifer, however, felt his chest tighten. A being to bear the Creator's image, to carry his breath? And this task, this ultimate honor, had been given to the Son. His mind churned, though outwardly he remained composed. He folded his golden wings tightly, his face unreadable. As the Father finished speaking, a crescendo of worship erupted. Angels lifted their voices in song, their harmonies weaving into a tapestry of praise that filled every corner of heaven. The light of the throne grew brighter, pulsing with the joy of his creation. Lucifer bowed his head like the others, his voice joining the anthem. But within, the questions remained, unspoken yet undeniable. Why him? Why not me? The flicker of discontent deepened, no longer a faint shadow, but a seed taking root. As the assembly began to disperse, angels lingered, their hearts alight with excitement for what was to come. But Lucifer walked away from the throne with measured steps, the radiance of the moment failing to pierce the growing storm within. And though heaven sang, the morning star could not silence the discord rising in his soul.